All right, all right. So I'm coming off the back of recording the Momentum audio, and it's funny because I just got done recording that one. I looked at my phone. My wife's on her way back, and she said she's hungry. I'm hungry, and the funny thing is, I said I got to record one more. I've recorded about 9 so far, and the interesting thing is that because I tend to do a lot of things that involve like live interaction, Facebook Lives, the way I coach with people on this with Voxer, it's live in the moment. There's not a lot of I'm inspired in the moment, right? So this stuff is stuff I'm talking about that I'm getting in the zone. There's no live going right now. I'm not talking to anybody but my phone my computer and my camera. And so there's this level of I've been procrastinating, even though I know it's vitally important to people and I know it will help. And I know I can get in the zone and get into flow and let this stuff flow out of me, and great stuff will happen. And there will always be things that I could have said, should have said, would have said, da-da-da-da-da. Same thing with videos I used to edit. There was always shots that could have, would have, should have made it, but didn't. There was always going to be that. And so the irony is that I'm in momentum right now. And so, but I had to take imperfect action. I had to get it going. And although this is something I'm good at, this is one of those examples of there's like a weird resistance because it's something that I know needs to be done and only I can do it. And I just had to push through, right? And once I got in momentum, it started getting easier and easier and easier, and it's flowing out of me, and I'm going, and I'm on a roll, and I got to keep that roll going. This is something where when I say we got to learn, because this one's going to be about saying no. And so there's things that we need to say no to because they don't feel right and whatever else, but there's other ones we got to sit with that. Why are we procrastinating? And I know levels of why I'm procrastinating here. Because there's a level of me that always loves to make sure I'm doing something with an individual because I live for the interaction. So when I'm doing something that's live and I see numbers on there and I see comments, or I'm boxing somebody, or I'm talking to a human being, or I'm doing a jumpstart session podcast, they all have interactions. They're live in the moment. I don't have to plan, and I know someone is 100% being impacted from it. And so stuff like this, when I'm recording, I don't know what it'll be, 20, 30, 50 audios by myself in my studio, and I definitely believe and know inherently that people will listen and people will be impacted by it. And that's been the intention of recording it. But there's the Jiminy Cricket on my shoulders. It's like, do you really want to waste your time doing that? There's other things you could be doing, blah, blah, blah. And I have to battle that. But it kept nagging. And I'm like, I got to do it. I just got to get the momentum. So that being said, that's a little tangent for the beginning of this one, but I love to get the thought processes out because that is what I want people to see, hear, and experience because I think it's very valuable to know that this isn't this polished thing where I've gone into a studio with a teleprompter, scripted it out, and I've got it all perfected because that's not me. And if that's you, that's great. Be that and do that. Don't try to be like me because you're going to lose. But you know where I lose? Trying to be like you. So this one about learn to say no, you can't please everyone. So it's an interesting thing back to MIA and all these concepts we're talking about that are always kind of dependent at times of where you're at in your career. And it really does matter because there's certain things you're going to do at certain points in your career that you won't do at other times. And so sometimes, again, we're comparing and we're seeing people at their today and how they're doing things, and it's not the best thing for us to do at our today. And so sometimes in the beginning, there's levels of be a people pleaser, do everything for everybody, try everything, test, right? Take imperfect action in a lot of directions, throw things at the wall, see what sticks. And, you're saying yes to everything. I got to pay the bills. They're giving me $50 for this, or give me $200 for this, or give me $100 for this. But eventually you'll potentially get momentum. You'll get things going. Things will be working out, and you'll be so overwhelmed because you have no time to breathe, no time to think, no time for just chilling, no time for your family, no time for doing what you also love. And now you're doing these things where now you've experienced a contrast because you've experienced in the beginning this idea that I have no idea what I love to do. I just love taking photos. I just love shooting video. So by God, I'll do it for anyone. They're going to give me $100. Oh my God, this is amazing. And that's great. You shouldn't that should not be the case. But the more you experience jobs that you're like, well, that wasn't that much fun. Well, that one was a lot of fun. I mean, that was okay. That was epic. And you start experiencing that, the more you'll want to lean into doing more of the things that were like, wow, that's epic for you. Because I know right now that I talk a lot. And I like to talk to people a lot. And there's people I know who are like, I wouldn't do that if you paid me millions of dollars. I hate talking to people, right? So for me, it's a blessing. For somebody else, that's a curse, right? So there's things right now that you're going to find to be a blessing that I talk about this concept. We'll talk about kind of in the marketing mindset sections of trash to treasure. This idea that one person's trash is another's treasure. There's places called trash to treasure. Somebody is like, I'm sick of this thing. It's junk. They take it to the trash place, and the trash place turns it into treasure for somebody else who's like, oh my God, this is amazing. They sell it for $500, right? You gave it to them for free. So one person's blessing is another's curse. So there's things that you're testing and trying and doing, and you're doing all these things, but the more contrast you have, the more you experience things you like, others might not, but you like, the more this just anything for everybody, yes to everything is going to start to be less attractive, but there'll always be another opportunity to do something that you don't want to do, right? There'll always be another opportunity to get paid $500 for a project when, quite frankly, you could use it, but you know it's not taking you in the right direction. And so my thing is that, as I've talked about in the My Way decision and some of these different concepts, there comes a place in time where you realize there isn't enough time in a day to please everyone and to take care of everyone. In my business, one of the things was doing tape transfers, film transfers, photo slideshows, all these kind of little tasks that for me, I wouldn't say I hated, but I definitely didn't love. I loved more the person who came in and dropped off their tapes and I talked to him for 2 hours. The problem was that 2 hours allotted to a $25 project. And because the overall process was not something I fell in love with, if I didn't get help for that, I'd never transfer their tape. I'd procrastinate on that until I'm blue in the face. No interaction. I liked when they dropped it off. I liked when they came to pick it up. But in between, there was nothing about that I loved. So I wouldn't do it. I'd procrastinate. So if I didn't pay somebody, then it didn't get done. If it didn't get done, then they're not happy. Then guess what? They're now not pleased. And what I was trying to do, which was help the local community, now turns into a disaster. And what happened was I was making maybe $10,000 or $12,000 off of these services while spending $10,000 to $15,000 to have people help me with that service because I wanted to please people and help people. And I'm like, I got the equipment. If they go to Walgreens or Walmart, they're going to have to, get it sent out. I do it in house. I had all these justifications why it was the right thing to keep doing and keep helping. But it wasn't the right thing for me. It wasn't the right thing for my lifestyle. It wasn't the right thing for my company. It just wasn't right for me. And so eventually, after 4 or 5 years of offering that service, we cut it. And coincidentally, that was the year that I cut a lot of things and I said no to a lot of things. And quite frankly, I upset people. I'm arrogant. I'm an ass. Why don't you do there's all this judgment, but I wasn't loving it and I was losing money and losing sleep. And so I realized that there's a buddy of mine in Texas who loves that. He's built a $500,000 plus company doing just those activities. And he doesn't travel now. He shows up to the place more or less Monday through Friday. I think even Saturday and Sunday. He has some employees. That's their main service. They're excellent at it. And it's amazing, right? What works for one doesn't work for another. So that's what you got to realize. There's lots of ways to make money. There are lots of ways. I had one person once who did a training day with me, one-on-one day. And the exact reason, I don't care what any of you do. I don't really care if any of you do video or filmmaking. You're in this far, but the reality is I have no care whether you do video or filmmaking, editing, shooting, own a business, don't own a business. I don't care what you do. I'm narrowing in myself on you right now because there's a lot of resonance there and there's a lot of experience that I have. But this particular gal had done photography for 5 years, dabbled in it, struggled with it, and never did really well with it. Decided I want to do video. Saw me speak somewhere, came in to spend a day with me, thought she was going to learn all sorts of things about video and business of video and everything I ended up talking through. At the end of the day, she ended up crying, said, thank God I did this. Now I know I don't want to do video. And now she's a co-owner in a CrossFit gym, seems to be super happy. That, my friends, is what I want for each and every single one of you. That's it. I want you to be happy. I want you to get up every day and get to do what you love to do. Get to do what you want to do, get to do it with people you want to do it, get to work on awesome projects, make a living doing it, and spend the majority of your time in a state that you are enjoying, knowing that there's going to be bumps in the road and things that knock you down, and it's going to suck from time to time, and you can get back up, and there's always a light, and you can get back to that place. But that's powerful for me, to recognize that we got to find what's right for us. And when you do that, and then you start to say no to the things that aren't right for you, people will judge you. People wonder why you're doing it. When you say no to the things that aren't right for you and you say yes to the things that are right for you, that year we did that, business was explosive. Even in the coaching, I'm doing that same thing, right? What is right for me? Who is right for me? Who can I deliver the most excellent results with? Because the more clear and certain and confident I am, the better everyone wins. Right? You're kind of disservicing people when you know you don't want to do something, when you know you're mediocre. Now, being mediocre and not wanting to do it versus being mediocre and wanting to do it are two very, very different things. Because I don't want to do this and I'm mediocre, that's kind of a disservice to the person you're doing it for. Because by God, there's somebody who at least might want to do it that's mediocre that will probably end up doing a better job than you. And so my biggest thing is that when we know we don't want to do something and we're not good at it, we're kind of disservicing people. And now there's the time where when you're not good at it, but you really want to get better at it, it's just probably not charging, not making a yin-yang off of it because the stakes are much higher. You're playing Russian roulette. That's where cheap to free projects, typically I more lean to free, of course, than cheap, are the best thing to experiment and test and try, get your feet wet and have low pressure off of that and low responsibility off of that because you didn't just charge somebody 10 grand having no clue whether you figured it out, but you got an optimistic attitude about it. That's great. And maybe it's in line with stuff you're fully capable of. It's just not the kind of client. That's one thing. But when it's a whole slew of motion graphics and hiring people and all this stuff, it may work out. I'm not saying it won't, but the biggest thing is reputations and relationships when it comes to business. And when we burn those things, it's hard to get them back. And so, getting to a place where you've had a lot of contrast, you start to know what's a yes, what's a no, a hell yes or a hell no. These types of things are important to gauge. And I learned that from Derek Sivers. If it's not a hell yes, then it's a no, right? And too many times we have these, and I've done plenty of that. And some, they pay off. More times than none when I'm in this like, if I didn't need money, I wouldn't do that. Then the more I can lean into the things that I would do, the better my business, the better my life, the better my clients, the better everything pans out than when you're just yes to everything endlessly and hating the majority of it. That's not a good place to be. And I want people to be saying yes to things they can powerfully say yes to. And that is a way in this world to start to stick out so much more than if you're, half-assing a whole bunch of things. And so I really think it's important. And when you start to figure that out, magic starts to happen. And so I say that a lot, but I just believe there's some of these things when you wrap your head around it, you start getting clear, you get confident, you get certain, what the product is, the problem is, and you're just really aligned on a lot of things and you know what to say yes to and no to, and these things click. Like I've experienced that so hardcore within my video production company. I've seen others experience it, and I'm really close in experiencing it with coaching. And the more I lean into it, man, the magic happens, and the better I feel, the more powerful I am, and the more connected I am, the more valuable I am to people. Because when I'm helping random people, right, anybody may be able to listen to these audios, and I've been told, of course, a lot of this is applicable to a lot of different people. But there's certain types of people at the state of mind I'm currently sitting in regards to, like, if you got an Amazon e-commerce business, I'm not saying I can't sit and have a conversation with you and there's not topics and things that I can't divulge into and help you get some breakthroughs. It for sure can happen. There's just a lot more dissonance for me because I like to experience it, because I have zero experience in that. There's a lot of my background, I'd be throwing darts in the dark and not quite sure if it's going to work, where in video production, there's a large volume of my experience that is valuable to people in that area. So there's certain things that I could cover that cover everyone. And then getting in deep with somebody, there's certain people where I'm going to be a little bit more dissonant. It's not going to make sense to me even, which is going to mean I'm less powerful to the person. And then there's other people I'm going to be more resonant. And so, and I'm not, not susceptible to these same things. Like, as I built through all, now going on 2004 to 2019 in video, been through a lot, in the big picture, I've had these not gaining momentum, like weird things happening in coaching and speaking and ups and downs and lefts and rights and like figuring it out and going through the same process. And like I said, looking at this stuff as I'm recording, listening and going, am I doing that now? Yep. As I do it, boom, it becomes more explosive. So it's a powerful process. And, That's all I'm going to say for this one for right now. So rock and roll and on to the next audio.